And we're back. And since I'm immediately starting off where I left off with no break, I'm still as confused. So let us look more into our minds. Man. Oh no. So these make sense if this makes sense. No, none of it makes sense in any case. This is the one that is the problem here. Yeah. Although I am so confused, sort of, because I know that the reason that I'm confused is that I feel that I'm sort of certain about things, but then I also know that when I feel that way, it's not good, or it rarely is good. So we are going to go over to the prison just to visit there and make sure that we're sort of playing with the right thingies. Because we still have the key, we have sort of information that about the art, the piece of art, where we could start figuring out where it came from. Actually, I think that might be one thing that we should do. I remember seeing like an article or something in the files that had something to do with Hellenistic artwork being stolen. So we're going to go over to our house and look at data, because I think the game is sort of giving us more free rein now to think for ourselves rather than handing us things, although it still does do that. So let's look at the archives. It is newspapers, and I think it was like Hellenistic treasures stolen, 85, so it's 10 years ago.
That is not the one I need.
Really? I guess we have to... I guess we have to first research the bracelet itself and then figure out. So let's look encyclopedias. Greek history is it's a very large subject. All right, let's go over, look at these newspapers from the other direction. So... New Scotland Yard opens 1890. Copper Beaches. I thought it was Copper Breaches when I read it first. So now we're already going through this. An antique golden bracelet that was found in Mr. Turner's flat. It is decorated with distinctive ram heads, and he said they were Hellenistic.
That is not,
but it's not the one you need. So newspapers and encyclopedias. What's the, if I go on the left, research. These aren't really giving me anything. The bullet wounds might give me something.
That is not the one I need. That is not the one I need. That is not
The if your progress, I'll just see what this happens, because it most likely just allows me to. Oh, is this from the last thingy? Mr. Holmes, no matter how famous a detective you may be, I must warn you, you have made a mistake in arresting my only and beloved son, Albert. And for what? For the murder of my husband. Everyone knows that he died of a heart attack. What is this fairy tale you have invented of a poisonous plant? Are you insane? You have no idea of my influence. I will crush you. Well, thanks. That's a nice fucking... Yeah, just thinking back, because of all the hidden stuff in there, it is the poisonous plants. But I do agree that, given the choice, I would probably not have arrested Albert. I would have investigated it more, but I don't think I had anything to investigate anymore, so I was sort of stuck. And I think because the game told me, the game didn't allow me to listen to the evidence. It just told me that she goes on for a while and it proves that she was there. It proves that she was there, which means that she wasn't anywhere else, which proves that she probably didn't have anything to do with it. And I feel like what I missed was manipulating the air vent, not the end of the air vent with the caterpillars, but just manipulating the air vent system, where there was a way to he turned everything on, but he blocked the air vent from going into that room, and so he locked the door. But still, he had to. I feel like he had to have eyes on the event, so that sort of just threw me off, because he would have had to run all the way to his window to see when to unblock the vent, and perhaps if he would have seen Miss White in the last episode, or the last case, Miss White could have seen the room, and then Miss White could have signaled to the guy who was the dead guy that now you have to unblock it. Then that would have worked. But I sort of missed that. I should have gone through the ventilation system better. Anyway, back to this case. There is something that we can research for the bracelet, and I don't really know what it is. Research chemistry. None of these make any sense. Poisons and things don't make any sense. Gunshot wounds would be from, just looking at the... And head injuries from the gunshot, but it doesn't make any sense. Fingerprints, new methods. So I think they used fingerprints as it was like a really new thing in 1888 or something. But it wasn't really used yet because it hadn't been demonstrated to really work. But if I could take fingerprints off of this, it would sort of help, but then again, not at all. So I'm not even going to press that. And I swear to God, if it's that one for some weird reason. Cane fighting system doesn't make any sense that there was a cane. This is just absurd. The Divine Syndicate was already there. Religious symbols. I mean, possibly from the RAM. None of these make any sense. Bankruptcy Act, 1883. Fenian condemned for murder. Immigration on the rise. Emma Keyes, murder. Colchester earthquake. Cannibals. Hellenistic treasures stolen. I mean, if this looks like a stolen piece of artwork that's being sold 10 years later, it could lead us to all kinds of different things. English Art Club, Queen's Golden Jubilee. It's like maybe it was there and I should know it. Because I'm soon just going to brute force this, which is because I feel like maybe there's a glitch, but there hasn't been one yet, so I don't think I shouldn't really think that way. Nothing. Dalton Gang. I think that's in America. Nope. Encyclopedias. It would be nice to... Antique art of British Museum. I don't think... Oh, fuck. Okay, fine. These beautiful antique jewels represent a part of the Hellenistic treasures collection. Depicted are the 5 heads of mountain rams upon a bracelet, necklace, and ring, each made of pure gold. The 5 rams of Mytilene have been missing from the museum since 1885.
Here it is.
Here it is.
I need to continue my research.
Yes, no shit, Sherlock. Can't believe I actually get to use that phrase. The Hellenistic treasures were stolen yesterday evening while being transported by cab on their way from the British Museum to the Glassford Fine Art Exhibition. Pawnshop owner Kenneth Butler contacted Scotland Yard that night and provided information regarding a gentleman who had attempted to sell him a collection of historical art at his pawn shop in Church Street. The police have since captured the described man, a professional thief by the name of Vincent Foley, who had been in the process of escaping London via the port. He was recognized by the surviving driver of the cab that had transported the collection of Hellenistic treasures. Vincent Foley refused to confess as to where the remainder of the treasures were hidden. He was eventually imprisoned. The lost treasures are still to be found. So we need Vincent Foley. The other one is Kenneth Butler.
Here it is. One of the victims, Kenneth Butler, was involved in the story of the stolen Hellenistic treasures. A visit to his pawn shop should tell me more.
Indeed. So maybe he was trying to track them or buy them or something, because he told on the person that was trying to sell the stuff. So I really wish there was a better way to, damn it, to work my screen. Watson is standing there. He looks like exactly the guy who was in the first case, I think. Yeah, it's the same bar, I think, too. Funny callback. I think I remember Butler as pawn shop as well. Maybe.
Mr. Butler's key matches the lock perfectly.
Okay. So was he selling or buying? Because he could have said that he saw the guy come in and then he didn't buy them, of course, or something. And then he actually bought them, and now he's been waiting for, a while to get rid of them and start selling them. Aha.
Crampons and a sharp ice axe would only be brought here by a mountaineer.
You didn't hear the footsteps, but I would imagine you hear a fucking pickaxe and some metal being smashed or like piercing rock and stuff. There's different ways of thinking about it, but we'll see. But climbing is basically the only option except for hiding. Yeah, that's a
flare pistol.
Yeah.
Perhaps it was pawned by a destitute sailor.
And there is one shot missing, which is sort of a very strong indication of what's going on. So that would remove, because I was thinking of, a person needs some sort of a chemical understanding of some sort of chemistry to, create a flash of light. I'm not sure there were cameras with the kind of, I think it's magnesium powder or something that you light, and then you get like a flash of light. But because if something's readily available, it's a bit like the difference between having a gun and shooting it versus having to actually build a gun and then shoot it. But we are looking at devices in this shop that could have been used for disappearing. But it is circumstantial until we find more evidence of a person. So we we need to look for, I would imagine, if you're going to actually climb up a wall, like shoot a flare. Because yeah, I'm not sure how bright a flare actually is, or better yet was back in the day. Because at nighttime it doesn't have to be that bright. During the daytime you can, I think, like, you can see it, but not really that well, because it is, I think it's meant to be used during the night. That's what flares are, at least historically, for. So long lost art. The collection of Hellenistic treasures was stolen from the British Museum in 1885. It has not been found since then and is considered to be lost. Loot list doesn't really have anything to do with this, but I'll just click it to get it out of the way, because I'm going to do it anyway later, I feel like. So I can't do anything with the objects of interest right now. I need something to sort of use for it. And I'm not sure what happens once a flare is fired. However, the cartridge remains inside. The cartridge remains inside the flare gun, and you need to pop it out. And the flare itself will probably leave a mark wherever it sort of falls into. And I think it because the fire is chemical. Oh shit, there we go.
Why are you looking at me all the time like that?
I'm just watching you, lad. I never know what to expect from people like you.
People like me?
Yes, street beggars and thieves.
I ain't a thief.
Oh no? Then where did you get whatever it is that you're gnawing on? I very much doubt that you bought it.
What ain't seen can't hardly be stolen.
So that sort of, I don't know how many pieces of dialogue these gentlemen have together, but it might sort of insinuate certain progress being made or something, I don't know. So one thing that bothers me is, and has bothered me for a while, is that because the mirror is there and she says, you know, she's looking out for customers and stuff, but she hasn't seen anything, it just creates sort of
I suppose.
doubt in my mind. And especially if it's like a flare gun being fired right here. There is, you know, fireworks and things. Not sure where the fireworks would be fired from, but because I don't know where the important places are in London. But you would probably see a huge flash of light here. And also, while I'm walking, it's a sort of unfair to accuse a kid of stealing when stealing is the only way to live. I find that sort of strange. In history, specifically, because nowadays we understand that, you know, if the people who don't steal, they starve to death and die, and they're no longer, you know, there. The people who steal food and survive, they're the ones who are here. So if you force people to steal, you won't give them any other options really. Than, or rather, if the stealing is better or easier than doing anything else, or more secure and certain, then people are going to do it. And sort of a strange way to think that people have lived in a way where they don't really understand that, and they don't try to make society, you know, better in a sense. Usually I think when people are stupid, they're not actually stupid, but they're fooling themselves. I think it's like a saying of, you can't, a person who's pretending to be asleep can't be woken up, in a sense. Anyway, since that was the most entertaining thing that we've gone through here, I should look at the walls, I guess, just to make sure that there's no sign of it, because I'd hate to miss something obvious and then have to run around a lot. So I'd rather waste time now and then be relatively sure that there's nothing here. The mirror would also, maybe the guy can see the flower sale girl there, so he's like, oh shit, I can't go. But he's already planning to climb, and he knows this area. If he's, you know, doing it. If that was his plan. But we're not getting anywhere, so we need more clues. Or deductions, or whatever. Combinations of clues. So, Long Lost Art is the new one. So, loot list is actually something I've already done. Because, I mean, this makes sense with the loot list. Because he took the gun and he didn't, so that would sort of demonstrate that he was actually, his intentions were realistic. And he can't have the other gun because he was arrested. Layton's revolver. just the moving just annoys me, but this is staying still. Leighton Chapman stated that he saw a person leaning over a dead body just as he entered the scene. Leighton took a gun from the body and set off in pursuit of the man. Leighton's revolver. Whoops. Wait. Stop. Yeah, so all these clues are, they're sort of, like they could be related, but they're not. So I'm not trying to brute force this, but it's starting to end up that way because these clues aren't giving me anything, and I don't think there's anything else that I can do elsewhere. This old acquaintance, they knew each other. Bootless. Leighton Chapman is the only person who was seen entering Half Moon. I mean, I might as well fucking brute force this at this point. I'll try to make sense, but these, because I feel like there's no more clues at this time to be found. But I really need to find the imaginary man. The Victorian ninja. But there's nothing to work with here. I feel if I get stuck, then I will edit the whatever's in between out. But I know that the murderer had to have escaped from this side of the events or the bodies. So there's no, he did not reach the street, so he had to go out before. He had a flashbang, probably just in case this happened, that he had to escape, or to shine light onto the street to see something. Because there were fireworks. Anyway, it's not that, it wouldn't be that strange to see a bright light on the sky. So if he's here, he fires up. He saw dude, the brother said he saw dude, basic size, nothing really. He saw the silhouette. I was thinking the noses might have something to do with it now, because seeing a silhouette, you might have to figure out the nose, and it might still come into play. I'll make sure I didn't miss anything up here as well, and I'll try to think while I'm walking around. I think we sort of figured out this guy and his involvement, or the lack thereof.
I wish this crime had never happened, Mr. Holmes.
Yes. And I don't see anything. I think I've gone through this area as best I can.
Mr.
So I'll do the neurons a little bit more. I'll just try to be more practical with them. So 2 victims. 2 victims, 3rd shot, but I think I've already done that. No. So 2 victims, 3 shots sounds a little bit like a famous video we've all seen and wish we'd never have seen. Leighton's revolver. Let me deselect. Leighton's revolver with 2 fire cartridges and 2 victims. I mean, that's one of those things as well, you know. I don't know what you get out of it, but sometimes in this game you've had to state the obvious, which is, you know, good. It's always good to state even the most obvious out loud, because then it becomes either true or something to falsify. Hmm. Long lost art. I don't see this one having anything to do with it. Common statement, old acquaintance. I don't think this might have something to do with like which one he got the revolver from, but nope. I'll just click. Oh, come on, man. I was just about to say that I'll just brute force the rest because there's, I don't see any connection between them. The witness testimonies and the crime weapon clearly point to one possible culprit, Leighton Chapman. But the other clues is not that compelling. If you want to leave it at that, then sure. But you know, usually when you're trying to figure something out, you shouldn't stop your conclusions at a certain point. You need to keep going. Leighton Chapman stated that he saw a person leaning over. He saw a person leaning over a dead body just as he entered the scene. Leighton took a gun from the body and set off in pursuit of the man, but he was blinded by a flash of bright light. So, also it is strange that the guy didn't take the killer didn't take anything but the gun. And not the item. So what's up with that? As Seinfeld would say, long lost art. So, in a sense, like he took the gun, but he didn't take the art. It's something, but the old acquaintance here is that he ran because he saw the old acquaintance, and not because he just murdered them and then ran with the gun straight into a busy street with people and a police officer. I mean, in any case, it's stupid, but at least running after someone and then seeing them disappear, assuming that they would have run onto the street, is weird. Is not weird. So every sort of little detail that we get sort of pushes towards him not being the killer. So I'll just write one more thing down to absolve him. Because he didn't assume that the killer would just disappear. And that's why he ran on the street. Otherwise, he would have walked onto the street without a pistol and just gotten off and disappeared into the night. I mean, yeah, I have no idea what that had to do with. Leighton Chapman's statement regarding the jacketed man who disappeared at Half Moon Street now seems reasonable, as the 3 shots at the crime scene prove the presence of a second gun that is now missing. Yes. That's what I've sort of been saying, but just didn't get the clues right. So let's do that, depending on where we can reenact it. I would assume we can reenact it right here. How far do we have to go, or did it say where we're going to do it? I'll look at it again. Talk to Constable Marrow.
Constable Marrow, I would value your assistance in this investigation.
It would be my pleasure, Mr. Holmes.
I would like to make sure that there are no places in Half Moon Street where a man could hide while you were running through it with your lamp.
All right, Mr. Holmes, what should I do?
Take your lamp and start walking, just as you did before, and try to find me.
Understood.
Okay, so I get to hide. And I cannot see anything. The first place that I would hide would be right here. Oh. I'm actually the officer.
I can see you very well, Mr. Holmes.
All right, Constable. Let's try again.
Yeah.
I'll find another place to hide.
I certainly could not see him, but when because my screen sort of gives me perfect vision if I look at it from top down, which is dumb. But then if I look at it straight forward, then I don't see anything. Hello.
Here you are, Mr. Holmes.
All right, Constable. Let's try again. I'll find another place to hide.
If he would have stood up there, like stood right here in the
Look for
corner.
Mr. Holmes here. He's hiding in Half Moon Street.
I know. So if he would have stood up right there behind the corner, I might have missed him. But he said he was trying to look for the person when he was going through here, because he heard the whistles and everything. So he's definitely going to try to.
Mr. Holmes, it wasn't difficult to find you at all.
It is obvious now. No one could escape Constable Marrow's lamp while hiding in the street.
So let's have a little look here. Corners in sight, latent statements. Now finally we are in sync with the game. If we can assume that there was one more person in Half Moon Street at the time of the crime, then there was no way forward or back for his escape, only up. Let's reenact the action, recreate the fireworks described by Leighton, and attempt to climb the wall. Alright, so we're going to leave that to the next episode because we know what to do. Find the flare gun and climbing equipment. And then we are going to try to do it fast enough. But I still feel like hitting your spikes against a brick wall is going to make more noise than footsteps. So you don't hear footsteps, but you hear this sort of pickaxe clinking action of metal and rock. But we'll figure it out in the next one. I'll see you there.